All right, welcome. We're about to take a quick guided tour of the most powerful and, frankly, most complicated machine in the entire known universe, your brain. We're going to pop the hood and see how you actually think. So let's dive right in. So let's just start with a really basic question. When you're thinking, what is actually happening in there? Is it just a voice talking in your head? Is it like a movie playing out? What's really going on under the hood? For a lot of us, this is probably what it feels like, right? Just a little internal monologue chattering away all day. But the reality is, oh, it's so much more interesting than that. Thinking isn't just words. It's this dynamic, super complex process. It's basically a full-blown operating system. Okay, so for the first stop on our tour, let's get a nice, clear definition. When scientists talk about thinking, what do they actually mean? Well, the scientific term for it is cognition. Now, don't let that big word intimidate you. All it really means is the active work your brain is doing literally every single moment. I mean, think about it. Your brain is constantly being flooded with information, and its job is to organize all of it, make sense of it, and then figure out how to communicate it. It is a massive, nonstop job. So to do all that heavy lifting, your brain has a toolkit, and the very first tool we're going to look at is something that's kind of like a built-in sketchbook. These are called mental images, and they're not just some fuzzy little memories. They are active, picture-like things that you can actually move around and manipulate in your mind. Let's try it. Right now, I want you to picture an elephant. Seriously, do it. See? You didn't just think the word elephant, did you? You actually saw one. You can almost turn it around in your mind's eye. And here is the absolute proof that our brain treats these mental images like they're real physical spaces. There was this famous study where people had to memorize this made-up map that you see here. Then they were asked to mentally travel from one spot to another. And here's the crazy part. The farther apart the two spots were on the actual map, the longer it took people to travel that distance in their imagination. We literally navigate our mental images like they're real. And this is a big but. Here's the catch. As powerful as these mental images are, they are always a weaker, kind of less detailed version of the real thing. Go back to that elephant. You can picture it, right? But you probably can't see every single little wrinkle on its skin. Our mental image is more like a faded copy of reality. Okay, so we've got a mental sketchbook, but with the millions of things to see and think about every day, how do we keep it all from just becoming a chaotic, jumbled mess? Well, that brings us to our next stop, the brain's incredible mental filing system. Your brain uses something called concepts. And the best way to think of a concept is as a mental file folder. So instead of having a separate idea for every single chair you've ever seen in your entire life, your brain just creates one chair folder and files them all in there. It's an unbelievably efficient way to organize the entire world. And this isn't just some messy filing cabinet. Oh no, it is perfectly organized into a hierarchy. So at the very top, you've got the most general folder. That's the superordinate concept, like fruit. Then inside that folder, you get a little more specific with a basic level folder, like apple. And you can drill down even further to a subordinate folder, like a Honeycrisp apple. Your brain is doing this for absolutely everything all the time. Okay, you ready for another quick experiment? I'm going to give you a concept, and I just want you to notice the very first image that pops in your head. Ready? The concept is bird. Okay, be honest. What did you see? Did you picture something kind of small and chirpy like the robin on the left, or did you picture the big old turkey on the right? I'm going to guess that most of you went with something like the robin, and there is a very, very good reason for that. That robin is your prototype for the concept of bird. A prototype is simply the best, most typical example of a category that you have, based on all your experiences. It's kind of like the default cover photo that your brain slaps onto that mental file folder. So we have these mental images, and we've organized them into these neat concept folders. But so what? How do we actually use this system to solve problems? And I mean everything from a complex math equation to just finding your lost car keys. Well, it turns out our brains have two main strategies for tackling problems. You can think of it like two different modes. One is the slow, careful, super precise mode that guarantees you get the right answer. And the other is the fast, intuitive, good enough mode that helps us just get through the day. Let's break those two strategies down. On one hand, we've got algorithms. These are like a recipe or a math formula. They're slow, very deliberate, step-by-step procedures that will always get you to the right solution. On the other hand, we have heuristics. These are your mental shortcuts, your rules of thumb. They're educated guesses that are super fast. So for example, if you lose your keys, a heuristic is to check the most obvious places first. It's really efficient, but it's not guaranteed to work. Your keys might still be out in the car.
Now, for the last part of our tour, let's just focus on that second category, heuristics. You know why? Because these are the clever little shortcuts our brain is using 99% of the time.
And these heuristics are absolutely essential. Without them, we'd be completely paralyzed. Can you imagine trying to use a slow, perfect algorithm for every tiny decision you make all day? What to wear, what to eat, which route to take to work? No way. These shortcuts let us navigate the world by making these quick judgments based on everything we've experienced before. And that really is the big takeaway from our tour today. This entire system, the mental images, the concept folders, this whole library of shortcuts, it's all constantly running in the background. It is the invisible operating system that's taking in the world around you and literally constructing your unique reality from it. So I'll leave you with this final thought. We've seen just how powerful and automatic these mental shortcuts are. Sure, they save us a ton of time and energy, but they're not always right. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, which of these unconscious rules of thumb are running your life? And how are they shaping your most important decisions?